So you toured our area, you went all along the coast on the Panhandle, and you settled on Miramar Beach for your next purchase. Stick around, this video is going to give you everything you need to know about the cost of living in Miramar Beach. I'm AJ Badouk with the luxury division of the Emerald Group right here on the Emerald Coast. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit subscribe and ding the bell so that you get notified every time we do another video. We're doing videos every week for you guys covering everywhere from Pensacola to Panama City Beach. So if you have any questions or interests about any of those areas in between, go ahead and make sure you're following our stuff. We have been getting calls, texts, Facebook messages, emails, and we absolutely love it. We love answering your questions. We love helping you to decide what you're going to do, what area you're going to be in, all of these things. This is our passion, so please don't stop. Keep hitting us up. We love it. So let's get right into the information. Let's talk about the cost of living of Miramar Beach. So just to kind of set some ground information, we always use the US as 100. That's the baseline. US 100. So any deviation from that is going to be, whether it's higher or lower, a comparison between Miramar Beach and the rest of the US. I also have some information concerning where Florida falls in those numbers as well, but Florida will also be a deviation. The US will always be the standard 100. So Florida, when compared to the US, so if the US is at 100, then Florida is at about a 102.8, so about 2.8% higher in cost of living than the rest of the US. But Miramar Beach, however, is at almost 122. So it's about 22% more expensive in Miramar Beach than it is in the national average. So a little bit pricier, and I'm going to go over the different information that we have that kind of gives us that number. The things that we're looking at when we're talking about cost of living are going to be obviously, your purchase price of your property and your utilities, any, miscellaneous entertainment, groceries, health, those types of things. And all of those numbers are going to get compiled to give you a rough estimate of how much you should expect to spend in this area versus the national average. And of course, it's easier to go ahead and compare city to city if you wanted to. There's a great website out there. You can just Google cost of living, and I think it's the best places will actually allow you to input the city that you're living in and then the city that you want to move to, so that you can really figure out a great estimate of how much more or less, or if it's similar in what you're going to pay as far as cost of living. So super helpful tool. Groceries in Miramar Beach are about 5.6% higher than the national average. So a little bit more there, nothing too drastic, but every little bit counts when you're talking about figuring out how much you're going to pay in general for everything when you're making or considering a move. When compared with Florida, Florida is only about 2.8% higher than the national average. So Miramar Beach is still higher than even Florida. As far as health goes and your healthcare costs and what have you, Florida and Miramar Beach are about the same. They're both actually lower than the national average at about 98. So they're about 98% of the cost for health when compared to the rest of the national average. Housing is where it gets a little bit different. So again, US is at 100. So then Florida is about 2.6% higher than the national average, and Miramar Beach is about 72% higher. So that's pretty close to double the national average in what you're going to pay for a house in the area. The national median house is about $292,000, but in Miramar Beach, it's about $543,000. So that's where you're going to see that big increase in your cost of living. Your utilities aren't significantly higher in Miramar Beach. They're about 2.5% higher than the rest of the national average, as opposed to Florida as a whole, which is about 1% higher than the national average. Your miscellaneous costs, like, entertainment and such, is really about the same as the national average. So not really a whole lot to go into there. It's about 1.5% higher versus Florida, which is actually a little bit lower at 96.9%. So these are all the, all the kind of statistical numbers that we have right now for how Miramar Beach is compared to the national average when it comes to price and what you're going to pay, just living essentially. So if you have any questions about that, go ahead and give us a call, send us a text, drop a message down below. We look at all of them. Otherwise, see you at the next one.